Hi, hello, welcome to Dusty Shop, where bad decisions are rabid and planning is lacking. So, don't do what we do. Well, you could try it. Have fun with it. You know, do the YouTube stuff. Click like and subscribe. Alright, thanks. Alright, circus goers, so today we're working on the old flip truck. Right here she is. Like I said, this old Chevrolet we bought, I've had it for a while. I drove it for quite a few years. Now I'm going to send it down the highway. I had torn apart. I said, put it back together. So today we had to replace this little part right here in the steering column, which is the turning signal switch right here. Because the one in the truck, this part of it, right here, it don't work because the wire's broke. So we're going to replace it with a used one that works, because you ain't got no wipers, and you ain't got no, what good is a truck without wipers? Kind of, anyhow. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get this thing changed out real quick. If you ever change one of these out, it's not anything quick. And I don't know, I can't remember for the life of me what kind of condition this column is in. So it's not loose and it's all like sloppy. So, it might be a little rough inside, but we'll work through it. We'll work through it. So let's get started and let's get this changed out so that way we can get closer to firing this thing up and doing some other things with it. Because got the interior all put back together, so you've seen other videos. We'll do a quick overview of this thing. Because like I said, this thing was in pieces. Now it's back together, getting closer. So here we go. Let's get this put off. All right, circuit score. So here we go. Let's get this thing taken apart. So what I've already done is I've already pulled the good old-fashioned steering wheel off, and so now I am still on the fence with this thing. I don't know if I should. I'm probably gonna end up leaving it in here. I know I said I was gonna take it out so we could do it on the bench, but man, I gotta pull it. There's a lot more. I forgot more than pulling this thing apart than I cared to deal with right now. I'm trying to get this thing done, so I think we're gonna try something and see if it works out. So here we go. Like I said, I didn't have the cameras on because it's part of my steering. The main shaft of the steering column is a little jacked up, so I had to modify my steering wheel puller tool a little bit to accommodate the little bit of hibbliness that happened right here. So no big deal. Let's let's get going. Let's get this thing torn apart. This thing's taking like more time than it needs to be. It should be pretty simple, straightforward. Let me grab some more tools, and let me rip this thing apart. So I'm sure you've all seen the good old-fashioned GM. Oh man, steering column dismantled. Maybe. There's a torque. Man, it's been a minute. That's Phillips. That's it. All these parts. Used to be these things were abundant. Had tons of these things laying around. Not so much anymore. I'm getting a little, I don't want to say thinner. I just don't have as many as I used to. These are like everywhere. I'm still got quite a few. So, oh yeah. All right. Let's get down here to the mashed potatoes. Let me go get the other part. Shove this back, and we'll get this column, the ignition switch out. Turn it from this, move out of the way. Yeah. All right. Let me get some stuff. All right. So we got a handful of everything. So as you can see here, this tool's had one or two steering column put through it. Because it isn't jacked up. thing's starting to show its age. Sure. Yeah, this thing's been removed about 10 maybe 20 times. Yep. Like I said, it ain't real hard. Look at this thing. She's a little slapped out. A little clapped out a little bit. I think the steering column been taken apart a few times. It was life. It's a 30-year-old truck, so I mean, imagine it has, man. These turning signals, which is notorious for wearing out. And the old knuckles on these things. Get in here and get loose. This one. Hold on, you remember? I don't remember. I'm wanting this to be a one and done kind of deal. Set that there. So that's like so. Alright, give me a little magnet tray here. Some of the stuff screws in there. Get that out of there. Put that over there. Put that there. Okay, will this wiggle out of my way? Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Just out of the way for now. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna get a torque. This thing slide that key out. Then we'll get a torque drive. Two of them. I'm gonna take that all the way out because I gotta get this up to there. Don't mind me. So, yeah, there's some tape on there. It's just there to protect the wire from chafing, I guess. I didn't do that, but so I know the switch works. Just pulled it out and kind of started cannibalizing that there steering column. Then we'll get a car drive, and then we'll do unbolt it, hang it down out of the way, unplug everything, because we got to pull that. This is the turning signal. We all know what this is. This is the turning signal switch. So we got to get this out of the way because we can't get this housing out with this switch, with this in there. And so pull it back out, pull it back to the column. Yeah, that's the plan. All right. Yay. I'll get this out of here. Need that. I don't think this is going to make too much of it. Lay it all out for me. Now I had to take, like I said, we got to pull the switch and this switch wire through the column. a little wonderful channel that is I absolutely just just adore taking it apart. I'm gonna get another work. Maybe get some more stuff. I get work light. Get underneath here. I said it's not too hard now. I'm gonna down the spiral. Let's get this done. Maybe on to other more important things in life. Maybe. Probably not. We'll see. We're gonna get this thing done. Get her done. Alright, circus goers. So as we can see here, yeah, I'm gonna do a little voiceover. I'm gonna take the bolts out of the bracket that holds the steering column into the dash, because underneath it is the auto conduit that holds the wire for the turning switch and for also the wiper relay switch. All that stuff goes through, little passes there in the swivel, and the tail column, and the little tilt, like a little notch there you got to go through. But I find it easier just to take that auto conduit thing completely out of the way, because you just take the bolts out and it's underneath there, and then got a little hold on tabs. Peel that bad boys out of the way, and then just peel that thing all the way out of the column. It's just easier to work with the column that way. So that's what I'm doing right now. We'll get all that taken care of, so that way we can get it, get that switch out, and then start getting it unbolted. All right, so we've gotten the base there, the auto conduit, and all that good stuff, and the steering column just kind of hanging out in there right now. I'm taking out there's 3 bolts that actually hold that section of the column together. It's a couple pieces. Anyhow, so they're just little Torx. I'm gonna take them out of there right now. As you can see there, the turning signal switch is hanging out there sitting on the seat. The wire's in there. The plug on that thing, whatever reason I couldn't get it out right there. So I'm gonna take that center section right there. Everything will kind of come out right there. I'm lifting it out. Not too hard. Just gotta be kind of careful. The steering wheel or the steering column lock mechanism's up there in that top left corner. Yeah, gotta be careful of that, because it's spring loaded, and sometimes that thing will pop out or won't pop back in, and then you get a little bit of trouble right there. But not a big deal right there. As you can see, I'm working it out. Like I said, the plug was giving me problems for whatever reason. It kind of hanging up and stuff in there. I'm not trying to ruin the plug, because I'm not going to reuse that switch. So you see, I get me a little helper back there. He's just jabbering at me, and there it comes. That little flat wide plug. Just got to finesse it out of there. We got the it is the cruise control wire was already broke off in there, so I just kind of pulled the wire through there rather than trying to. And there's the relay switch. So yeah, we're just kind of pulling stuff, everything through there. Same thing, I gotta kind of finesse it through there to get the column out. So there we go. Yeah, you can, like I said, sometimes that thing doesn't want to play right. That's where me shoving the switch through there. Get that out of there, and voila, here we go. Get that bad boy out. Like I said, sometimes it's just a pain to flush that thing through. Just takes time finessing it just right. So I didn't take it out. We're fishing it through. Damn, man. I just hate something. Just be like, God damn it. Unfortunately, this thing's kind of jammed out of here. That's such a very weird way that I turn it. This will come out. There it comes. Oh, I know. Probably should have done something different, but I'm not. we go. There it is, right here. There's the old one. So my wires were already spliced. So this thing was already, I can't see it. Damn chair. And it was wired together badly. So I gotta get rid of this whole thing. Alright, circus goers. So as you can see here, that's the new switch part. So yeah, we're starting it all, feeding the wires through and getting it all bolted up and starting to do the whole process, yeah, and backwards, as in putting it back together. So, yeah, we'll catch a little bit of this. I mean, it still looks good. Taking it out is fun. Putting it back through is even funner. So, as you can see here, I'm struggling to get that there big old flat plug in there. Yeah, finally got it. It was not easy and no fun. So what I've already done is I put both switches through there at the same time. So I went ahead and ran the turning signal switch. The turning, you can see it hanging out there a little bit, and then on the turning signal lever there is all the stuff with the cruise control and the cruise control wiper relay switch. So the only thing I'm not doing this was I put everything in there except for the cruise control wire, which has to go through there too, and I didn't put it in there. So I got to pull it back apart and rerun it. Not pull it back, but I'd pull it out a little bit and then rerun the cruise control wire like it's supposed to, route it through there. It's been a while. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these, so and all that was kind of funky in there anyway. So yeah, here we go. And so after putting the column all together and all that, I started playing around with the dimmer switch. Yeah, well, guess what? Earlier in the video here, when I looked down there and the thing dropped on the floorboard, yeah, that was part of the dimmer switch mechanism that goes down there and actually goes a little metal rod. Yeah, I forgot to pick it up and put it back together like it's supposed to be. So here I am jacking with it, trying to get that little lever piece back where it belongs. And that's what's in my hand right now. And you've got to line that piece up in there, put it down on the rod, and then slide everything back together. And like I said, it used to be an octopus, I guess, and could do all that, and now I couldn't, or now I'm not. And then struggling a little bit. Tuition. That's all I'm gonna say. Tuition. And then get everything to kind of slide and lock back into place. And I had it all bolted together. Before I did that. I did absolutely, yeah. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna get that in there and get that thing to work right. It's just gonna take a couple, 5 or 10 little jabs, and it's probably a good thing we're doing a voiceover because I'm probably I got all kinds of good language going on with this thing. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to put a light on there, make sure it keeps falling out. For some reason I keep thinking there's something in there to hold it in place. I think there was, and it's just old and brittle and it broke when I took it apart. So the struggle's real. The struggle is real. Alright, circus goers, so got the dimmer switch working, and then I got ahead of myself, put the turning signal switch back in there, was checking it all out. You know what I forgot to put in there? Yep, that thing right there, the good old ignition switch. I probably should have called it a day then, but I did not. So here we are, we're installing the ignition switch back in the truck, because it'd be nice to start the thing or lock the thing, whichever one you want to go with. But so right now, and I don't know why, but after I put it together this time, that switch just did not want to go back in there right, and just kind of, I don't know, I'm not happy. So, but little extra persuasion there, and here we go. We're working. Sometimes it seems to be all right. It's a little, hopefully a couple good turns on it, and everything will go in there. Get the old set screw put back in there, And let's get the turning switch back in one more time, I think. Or maybe not. Yeah. Well, alrighty. So now I'm done. Is I have got the turning switch back in there. First time, check the tilt, make sure that working. Being the way I'm having problems, give her a good heart, make sure it's locking. It's fine. It'll be all right. Finally, it's all good. So let's get the old lock ring and the horn button part and the little the wheel for there. Get the old lock ring tool in there installed. And let's get the steering column mounted back on there. Talk about a complete circus. It is for a 20-minute, basically one of them deals of it should have been a 20-minute job. It's now 2 hours and something into it because of just all the little forgetfulness on my part, a few little bad, old pieces, and then trying to fix stuff. So, here we go. Happy days. All we got to do now is get that lock ring down in there, which is, it's pretty easy now. You just slide the old retaining clips in there, pull that little tool off right there, and we should be on the downward, hitting home run, heading for the, all that. Because, like I said, this thing has just been absolutely just fun, kind of. No. Not really. It should have been pretty easy, but been in worse, been in better, but here we are. Gotta, like I said, get them little clips in there. Let's get this thing done. I am just, kind of ready to call it a Friday and get the hell done with this thing, cause man, everything's working now. Tilt works. Turning signals goes back and forth. The switch is in there. Blah blah blah. So I said just take that there little tool out. Get that thing out of the way. Because the end of that steering column is got a little boogered up a little bit. So my little tool there is not liking coming on and off. And you can see there, the little horn wire hanging out there. And all we gotta do now is put the old steering column back on there. Woohoo! Take that out, set it on the floor, and voila! Put the old plastic dust cover, whatever they call that thing, in on, no problem. Bada bing, bada bang. Run the old horn wire through the steering wheel. Let's get this thing on there. Like I said, that little nut deal, the end of that steering shaft is just a little boogered up, so stuff didn't seem quite sitting there quite right. So, and I said, here we go, get her lined up, and dun, dun, dun. Oh man, no, guess what I broke? The little plastic thing that makes the horn go beep beep. Yeah, I broke the little lock that holds the wire in place. You need to leave the wire in there so that way I can get it in there. And I broke it. So yeah, it's broke. I'm done and over with. So I'm gonna have to either find one of them parts, order a new one. But anyhow, with that being said, thanks for watching. And catch me on the next one. All right. Thanks.